Hello, monsters! Welcome to another episode of Monstaphors, the show that celebrates the art and culture of monsters and horror. I'm your host, the head of Alfredo Garcia.
Just get me a glass of hot fat. And bring me the head of Alfredo Garcia.
This week we're going to be exploring one of my favorite cultural aspects of horror, and that is beer. I'm going to be spotlighting a few breweries and beers that use horror in their labeling and talk about some of what's out there for you guys. And starting off, this one that I'm drinking right here, this nice little hazy double IPA from Boomtown Brewery called Devil's Delight. Nice little blue devil on the can there. Nice artwork. Really fun can, really great beer. Really nice, juicy, hazy double IPA. Got a nice kick to it. The last couple of years, we've seen a nice resurgence in movies that deal with satanic cults. A lot of it harkening back to the satanic panic of the 80s. There were a couple of books that dove into this. Grady Hendrix's My Best Friend's Exorcism, which is a great read. I highly recommend that. We've had a slate of movies that have dealt with these themes. We Summon the Darkness came out last year, and before that there was Satanic Panic with Rebecca Romijn. But the movie I'm going to recommend is Ty West's House of the Devil, which came out a few years back and was a nice throwback in itself to 1970s horror. Beautiful look to it, real nice slow burn with some really great killer moments in it, literally. Moving on, I want to talk about Paperback Brewing. These guys have a lot of fun with their labeling. All of their beers are kind of throwbacks to exploitation movies. So we've got here Hollywood Hellcats, which is a West Coast style IPA, 7.1%. This is a good one. It says they're taking down Hollywood one creep at a time. Throwback to exploitation movies. Attack of the Space Cats, which is a hazy IPA at 6.6%, a little bit lighter. Also nice flavor to it though. And then I think maybe one of my favorite cans is Bunny with a Chainsaw. His cuteness will cut you to pieces. This is a fantastic one. This is a double hazy IPA at 8.4%. So tasty and a nice kick to it. A lot of fun. But the cans are great. The artwork alone is worth collecting, but the beers themselves equal up to that as well. And exploitation films are a lot of fun, crazy, weird exploitation films. And the one that I'm going to recommend to go along with these is
Psychomania.
This is a ridiculous little exploitation film from the 70s that deals with a biker gang that offs themselves so they can come back from the dead to raise even more terror. It's all rather silly, but a fun watch. So I'm going to go with that one. One of my favorite breweries that I've discovered since moving to Los Angeles is this Ogopogo Brewing. They do, the artwork on these labels is fantastic. They are worth the price of admission just for the artwork, similar to Paperback. Just really fun labels, okay? But here's the other thing that I love about them. Each of their beers are named after a mythical creature, and on the can, there's a little description, a little story about the creature, about where the myth comes from, where the folktale comes from. So this one's the Blunderbore. It's a hazy double IPA, 8.5%. Double dry hopped with Brambling Cross, Azaka, and Mosaic. This is a really great beer, like really flavorful. You know, I think the Paperback beers tend to be a little bit more on the bitter side if you like that kind of IPA. These tend to have a little bit more creativity with the flavors. So these are probably a little bit more straightforward IPAs, but these ones from Ogopogo tend to be a little bit more unusual in what they create. The other one that I have here is the Kiko Kiko, which is a hazy double IPA, 8.5%. They do make strong beers, and the Kiko Kiko are known in Maori folklore as malevolent ghosts that take possession of the living, causing them to lose their sanity. Isn't that fun? So, and he's adorable. Like, if you're going to be possessed, like, by a malevolent spirit, that's probably the way to go. He's even got, like, looks like he's wearing Chuck Taylors. That's pretty cool. So, really fun, creative beers. And they do a lot more than just IPAs, too, in case you think, like, I have a IPA problem, which I do. But they also do a lot of really creative stuff with like pastry stouts, really creative flavors. So they are a brewery that is worth checking out if you can find them in your area. to go with this, if you're enjoying some Ogopogo brews, a movie that I'm going to recommend is a more recent movie called The Wretched. It came out last year. I caught it on the festival circuit. It's widely available now, and it's sort of its own little folktale. That it's kind of building its own little folklore with there. It's a combination of several different folk tales into something wholly original, and just a really, really outstanding, creepy, chilling movie. So please do check that out. And last but not least, we've got these guys. I'm not going to burn myself on the candle. From Jackie O's. This is again a newer brewery for me, but I love the labels here. There's Jackie O's Hell Betty, which has this nice little skull character that's looks like he's wearing a motorcycle helmet or something. Not sure. It's called Hell Betty. It's a raspberry imperial porter, conditioned on vanilla beans and cocoa nibs. It's delicious. Highly recommend that. And closing out, we've got Jackie O's Dark Apparition. Maybe one of my favorite cans. This is a Russian Imperial Stout, and it's just very evocative of like 1970s ghost stories for me. I love this can. And again, because of that 70s vibe, got to go with George C. Scott's
The Changeling, an experience beyond total fear.
Really, for me, just one of like the most seminal ghost stories, especially that came out of the 1970s. Just a fantastic, creepy, slow burn movie with a great payoff at the end that I think deals really prominently with the theme of grief. And it's actually something that we're going to be talking about in a future episode of Monstaphors. So do yourself a favor, and if you haven't seen this movie yet, go check it out. And that really kind of does it for me. I think I just wanted to kind of point out that horror is more than just movies and books. And every month we're going to be doing an episode that focuses on where horror shows up in places outside of just traditional stories. And it could be something as simple as beer. I fully expect that we'll be doing more Fears of Beer segments in the future, because there's a lot of beers out there and I'm looking forward to trying them all. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this little segment on beers and horror. I hope you learned about a couple of new breweries and you check them out and support them. My final thought is this: there is nothing to beer but beer itself. Stay thirsty, monsters.